Hello, welcome back to the Depths. Last night, I had a very bad night. What was my bad night last night? I was on my phone, I was trying to get some sleep. And every time I wanted to get some sleep, my phone will buzz. I don't know if I've been conditioned that every time I hear that vibration, I have to go and check my phone. So I checked it. This is late. I've checked the phone. Buzz. I checked it. Okay, it's a message from such and such. I say, no, let me reply. Buzz. I check it again. It's my man. I say no more. I said, so no, let me get to bed now. Buzz. I was thinking, this one's an email now, it's not even a message. Joke, man. Point is this, I started thinking to myself, who is in control here? Am I in control, or is my phone in control of me? Sometimes in this life, there are some certain thoughts, there are some certain anxieties, pains, mistakes, what if scenarios. As those matters come up, they pop up in your head like that notification. Bzz. And just like that notification I was talking about, what do? We pay attention to it. It's gone from subconscious now to conscious. Now I'm consciously reflecting on that brain message. I'm consciously rather reflecting on that anxiety. I'm consciously reflecting on that pain. But I didn't choose to. When this reaction, this very reactionary approach to our thoughts carries on repeatedly, we may now use another word, which is rumination. Rumination. And this rumination is a very large feature of depression. There was a study carried out by a PhD doctor in the University of Liverpool a little while ago, and they found some interesting results. The results were that it wasn't necessarily the traumatic events that dictate if someone develops depression or not over time. Rather, it is the way in which they conceptualize those events, the way they look at those events, i.e., do they ruminate on those events or not? They constantly, repeatedly go over those events or not. This is one of the biggest contributing factors to the development of clinical depression. When you think about it, in the real world, many people who have, made it, quote unquote, they always say that, not they always say, but a lot of them say that, yeah, we actually went through some crazy stuff. There was some kind of traumatic event that caused them to end up the way that they are. Just like, for example, if you listen to any of these little interviews to some of these rappers and any of the interviews with some of the celebrities, it's almost as if the interview is trying to elicit that story out of them. So like, what happened to you? How was your childhood? And then they kind of want to hear, oh yeah, my dad died and my mum died and my cousin died and auntie died and every Tom, Dick, and Harry in my life died and this guy got they wanna bring that out because they want to elicit that trauma, because that trauma, hopefully, or the idea behind it is that trauma is going to be the thing that pushed them. But why do we tend to ruminate on these matters? The reason why we tend to ruminate on these matters is because the rumination itself is supposed to be the cure. There's poison inside of the honey. The honey was rumination. The poison was that rumination doesn't lead to anything beneficial in the long run. But in the short term, it gives that sense of control. It gives that sense of control. You're controlling the situation. Surely something happened to you that was out of your control. Now you get back inside your house and now you're able to what? Think about it. So how could we have done things differently? And if this happened, what would happen? And she said that and he said that and da. That's fine. By the way, for the first day. That's fine for the second day, maybe. That's fine for the third day, maybe. But how about the week? How about the month? How about the year? That's the poison inside of the honey. We're going deeper. Why does this occur? Well, you must first understand that the mind and wishes, synonymous with conscious and subconscious, exist in two separate planes of existence. They're in two separate dimensions. You can wish this all the way until the end of the world, but your mind is thinking something totally different, mate. For example, you can wish to be smartest person in the world, richest person in the world, strongest person in the world, most famous person in the world. The desires are endless. The aim of the mind, of course, is to do what? Is to keep you alive. Its major aim is to keep you alive. And added to keeping you alive, like we discussed previously in our previous videos, is keeping you alive on the lowest budget, which is energy. If our minds are given a choice whether to keep you alive or to fulfill your quote-unquote wishes, what do you think is going to pick? What do you think is going to pick? It's going to pick keeping you alive. Even if that rumination in this case is something that's going to be extremely detrimental to us in the long term, it doesn't give a toss. Or rather just keep you alive. In terms of the structure of our mind, the structure is such that our mind is built on many layers, but of the two layers is what we call the prefrontal cortex. You can Google this one, the prefrontal cortex. This is where the reason, the logic, the long-term thinking, the planning, this is where all of this takes place. Below this prefrontal cortex, we have a character we've met previously, which is called the basal ganglia. When a unexpected / traumatic / dangerous situation occurs, the prefrontal cortex, it cuts. It's not there. The driver evacuated the vehicle. Huh? It's like someone hasn't got insurance. The feds are coming. That's the traumatic situation. And the driver literally got out the vehicle and car. Now that that basal ganglia now has to take the lead. That's a jump in the driver's seat. And interestingly, when that basal ganglia takes over, it happens quicker than the thought itself. That takeover period, that switch, it happens quicker than the thought itself. Now, when it comes to the inner workings of a habit or a loop, we have three matters. We have the cue, which is the trigger. It's the thing that happened. We have the routine, which is the reaction. How does it react? Then we have the reward, which is the relief, the feeling that we did something. We can, again, use rumination, but I don't want to keep repeating the same thing, but you can use rumination and just add that to whatever I just mentioned. Neurologically, when this habit is trying to form that path, you know, neuroplasticity and all that good stuff, it's forming the path. Back. Dopamine comes now. Dopamine comes and cements the path. And then now, once you've established that pathway, put another way, you know, sometimes in this life is like a jungle and it's uncharted, but you still need to make your way through it. In making your way through it, you made a path. That's the habit. That's your coping mechanisms. You made the path. Now, once you're making that path, the dopamine is like the cement or the tarmac hitting that path. So now you can take your car over the path. You can take your car over the path. How can you take your car over the path? That means now that habit is quick reaction. Thing happens, that's how you react now. That's what you know. That's the path that you've already made. You've cemented the path. It's got tarmac on it. It's even got railings on it. It's a very certified path. M25. As you can see, it is synonymous with us saying that we have moved over from the thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex. Now we've moved over to the basal ganglia in our reaction in this case. It's moved from conscious to subconscious, prefrontal cortex to basal ganglia, from thinking to a habit. This is why it's very fallacious sometimes to say to people, oh, try harder. Because try harder, it lacks nuance. It's not necessarily about trying hard or not trying hard. That's not what it's about sometimes. It's like somebody not going to the gym a day in their life and then going to the gym for the first time in their life and then trying to immediately push 120 kg. These times they only weigh 50 kg themselves. That's crazy. And then on top of that, now from the perspective of the person, when the person tries to lift that 120 kg whilst they weigh 50 kg and then never gone to the gym a day in their life, that person now saying, I'll give up, I'm too weak, I tried. Both of them are nonsense. From the person encouraging that and from the person saying that sort of statement, both of them are nonsense. How we can actually change that situation is first observing and trying to understand the loop. Understand the loop. What's the triggers? What's the thought? What's the reaction? How do we react automatically? What feeling comes out from this reaction? What am I trying to do? For example, in rumination, you're trying to control the situation. Next, we need to plan and decide a new reaction. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe and join us as we journey deeper into the depths.